Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Charlie, and welcome to Surviving the Aftermath. It's a newer game released by Paradox a little while ago. I was going to play it on the day of release, like a lot of other YouTubers did, but I had some problems. We streamed it on Twitch. Had some problems with it. It was a little bit buggy, had characters standing around not doing anything, and ultimately my game just crashed and my save files are completely corrupted. So we didn't play it anymore. It's had a few patches now. You can see version, this long, complicated version number. So I'm gonna give it another try. I gave you guys a vote. Said, do you want this one or did you want Crossroads in? 2/3 of the vote went for this. So let's give this a try. And if you're wondering, oh, no Crossroads, don't worry. I plan to do that after this. So I'm gonna do them both anyway, but this is gonna be first. All right, so Surviving the Aftermath. What is this? Well, you guys remember Surviving Mars? Kind of has the same name sort of thing going on. I'd like to think of these two games as being kind of in the same universe. I guess I'll use that intentionally. Basically, this is sort of a post-apocalyptic nuclear thing, right? Pretty standard. It's not original in any way. A thing has happened and you have to survive. But this is like a nuclear holocaust, This is like a nuclear meltdown of the whole, world, and you have to survive. It puts like a Fallout twist to the colony management games and stuff, so it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look. I am going to turn the tutorials on just so that it's kind of organized for you guys if you're new to the game. I know most of the things, but I will go through things kind of in my own way and read things as they come up, but I will put them on just for you guys. Okay, so very similar to Surviving Mars. You want to choose your environment, catastrophes, resources, survivors, challenge, gatekeeper, visuals, which doesn't really do anything for your difficulty, but just like Surviving Mars, you're going to see this difficulty percentage go up. So environment. There are only a few who remember the spark that started it all. A chain reaction of global catastrophes wiped out most of the planet's population and made people turn against each other. Those who are left now must survive the aftermath in this post-apocalyptic world. You have 3 different settings. Each of these settings are progressively harder as you move down the path, and your percentage goes up as you select different ones. We're going to be doing kind of the middle of each one. This is not an easy game by any means, and we may lose, but this is my first hoping this is my first all the way playthrough. If you guys like this video, I don't normally do this in my videos, but if you guys like this, it would really help me out a lot, especially the channel and all that stuff. If you guys would give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, engage with it, all that kind of stuff. It helps videos spread, and things like this, especially coming in late on the party, if you will, to playing the game on YouTube anyway, it's gonna be hard to place this as far as search results go. So any engagement that you guys can give it will help out a lot. Thanks. The world is desolate and unforgiving. We're going to go in the middle here. It gives us average temperatures and humidity. Fertile soil is 25%. So not quite the 40%, not quite the optimal conditions, but not the hardest difficulty either. Catastrophes. Slowly but surely, modern civilizations crumbled as catastrophes kept swooping across the continents. Cities were destroyed and the planet itself suffered permanent damage. Again, we're going number 2. It's still a dangerous world, but we will prevail. This is going to give us 35% contamination level, and we're going to get some common catastrophes. The catastrophes are going to be common. They're not going to be something that happens really frequently, but they're also not going to be as seldom as occasional. Resources. Everyone has their breaking point. Eventually, it is not enough just to survive the day. People need hope, and there finally is some. It has been a long road to get here, but that which was before can now be left in the past. And again, number 2, the trusted car finally broke down. This is your starting conditions. So you'll start the game based on this decision. You can either have an indestructible bunker that collapsed, which is kind of funny, indestructible, but it collapsed. Plentiful resources. This will give you a lot of starting stuff. The car gives you about halfway. And then desolate, of course, is like you're really scarce. Again, we're going to start with the car that breaks down, and you'll actually see the car here. So it changes how the start of the game is for you, literally. Difficulty is currently 33%. Survivors. The people around you are the thin red line which keeps the groups alive. They are far from perfect, but everyone has made it this far. You can trust them with your life, and they trust you with theirs. Hardened individuals who will thrive. Band of survivors able to care for themselves. or a group of ambiguous misfits. This determines your starting population as well. Notice how you start with more people here, as well as more children. Yeah, because children aren't people, right? More adults here as well as children. You get it. Band of survivors able to care for themselves. Number 2. All right, challenge. These survivors will face challenges that are both large and small. Some caused by bandits, others because of their own actions. There are also other societies in the world that won't hesitate to strike back if you look at them the wrong way. Again, number 2, hard exploration, organized bandits. This is mostly your challenge as to your enemies and the things you have to face as they come for you and come after you, and how hard it will be to get more resources on the map and stuff. So again, number 2. Gatekeeper. Life is unfair, but sometimes it feels like you're not alone, whether it is an invisible guardian or just pure fate. But it sure feels like someone is watching over us. We're going to go number 2 again here. It's a tough road to walk, but never unfair. Survivalist, challenging but fair. It's your overall difficulty related to your gate events. All right, now visuals have no bearing, no change to the difficulty, so we're going to be at 67%. And the group is ready to settle down and unite under a new flag. I'm gonna go with the orange flag, and I like this. I kind of like how this works together. So we're gonna do these 2 things. All right, now we have the colony name as well as our colony motto. Colony name being Rock Bottom sounds real good. I like that. I actually like Rock Bottom. We're gonna keep it. But you can also you can type your own name if you like, or you can hit this randomizer and it will randomize the name. Colony motto: good luck, have fun. I love it. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I like it just the way it is. But again, you can make your own, type your own. There's character limits on both of these, and as well as have random if you want to as well. Okay. So there's the summary. Let's see how we survived the aftermath. So somebody in my Twitch chat made a comment that kind of connected the dots between this game and Surviving Mars. So if you're familiar with Surviving Mars at all and you've played like different scenarios and stuff, there's a scenario in that game called The Last War. It's one of the harder ones, I think. And you can kind of picture this as sort of tying into what the Earth was like during the last war. I mean, that's kind of nice. So you're on Surviving Mars, and eventually you don't need any supplies from Earth, right? This is sort of my way of connecting it right now. You don't need any more supplies from Earth. Your colony is completely self-sustaining. You don't even need to communicate with Earth. And then all of a sudden, later on, this happens. And now we're on this side to see if we can survive this hostile condition as opposed to Mars. All right, let's talk about the user interface really quick. We've got at the top, average happiness. Always good to keep your people happy. And we need them to have lots of hope. We have colonists. We have 10 total colonists as well as 7 carriers. Very important for your economy within your camp and stuff. You need lots of carriers to take things around, but it also shows you how many adults you have and also children. So 7 adults can carry, and then total colonists, your children are included in your total colonist population. We have 45 food. We're currently at a water deficit, so we need to take care of that right away. We have no power yet. We have 35 planks, 35 concrete, 25 plastic, 10 metals. We have no fibers yet, no parts yet, no components yet, no electronics yet, and no fun boxes, which I still don't know what that is because I haven't gotten far enough in my limited playtime to even deal with these yet. So cool. We also have tools, very important. We have clothes, also very important, especially when the conditions are getting harsher. And people generally are going to be unhappy if they don't have clothes to wear. They'll also be less productive if they don't have tools. We have medicine, super important in this game, and also science points, which we will start getting once we get out and explore a bit more. Any tool tips or tutorials and stuff that pops up will pop up over here, and I will kind of go through these at my own pace, so keep that in mind as well. We've got controls down here to judge the speed of the game, as well as our current day and time of day, as well as our different menus and stuff we'll be going through, and the world map is on this side. You can see the world map and all these different regions. We will be going after those as time progresses. Whenever you hear that little duck sound, that's a tutorial popping up. I don't know why they chose the duck quacking, but that's the tutorial they pop up, so it's cool. We're gonna hear lots of ducks. Okay, this is our start. We have our campment right here, food storage. We have our little place for stockpiles, and we have our start and broken truck. We're gonna go ahead and just demolish that and get get that truck out of here because actually, wait a minute. Now, if we don't demolish the truck, I think it serves as a way to store things. So we won't have people complaining about tools and stuff, even though there's tools. There was a thing in this game where if you don't have the facility to hold the materials and it's just laying out in the open, people won't use it until someone brings it into the shed. It's kind of a weird thing. So you know what? We'll wait to break down the truck until people have stuff, okay? Okay. Looking around the map, we have different areas for food. These are berries. We're probably going to be living off berries for a while. Let's go ahead and click our stockpile, and we can choose the work area for the stockpile. So let's do that. And we can just hover over top of things. You can see it highlights in green when you're able to actually access that. You can hold control and scroll the mouse wheel to increase or decrease the size of this. So this is useful if you say you have all this stuff selected and they'll all be able to work this. But if I really need concrete specifically, I can hone in over there on this concrete, but I'm still hovering the wood. So people might still be going after wood. So I can make it smaller if I want to and say only the concrete, etc. Right now, I'm not really picky, so I'm just gonna hold and have you get all of this stuff. Yeah, right there for now. This is our food storage. We have the work area for the food storage, and we want this, of course, to highlight food. Let's take a look and have you get this stuff first so we can start building in that first. Okay. Now, we're also going to need to build shelters, and inside the build menu, we're going to see tents. This is our opening shelter. Each one takes 2 wood and 5 plastic. So let's just have this go right about... I'm going to put it right here. You can see when I place these structures, there's a little area there that's on the bottom, I guess you could say right now. That's the arrows. The building isn't actually placed there. That's like a placeholder for paths and stuff. So I can put this right up next to this, and this can kind of be where the path will be. If you hold shift, of course, before people start telling me to do it, you can place multiple structures without going into the build menu. So there you go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let this ride like that. That's gonna give us 4 tents. We currently have 10 people, and each tent can hold 2 people, I think it is. So we are gonna need more. We're gonna need 1 more, and I'm gonna put that right. You know what? If I could put it here, that'd be better for my 4-floor plan. It does work. You'll see these. I'm gonna let the game run so they can start building things now. You'll see these nuclear waste pops right here. We can't do anything about those yet, but technology eventually will advance to the point where we can do something about that. Right now, it's just a drain on our land space. It doesn't really do anything for us. It doesn't affect the water or anything like that. And I kind of wish it would, because right now I can place a well in range of one of these things, and they're not poisoned by the well. Speaking of well, we really need to do that. So let's place a water well, and you can see where this is getting water. And this actually is a different UI. This didn't show this before. So I'm kind of, I'm digging the new UI on that. I'm going to put the water right over, let's say right behind the house here. This is probably fine. We'll put the well right there. This is going to reduce our water problems to 0, hopefully. Advanced controls, we can skip that one. Yeah, water shortage, additional warehouses, etc. Okay, now we need an additional warehouse, and this is to store things, because if you don't build the warehouse, they won't put things in there. And unlike Surviving Mars and pretty much any other game I've ever played, resources sitting on the ground like this are, unless they've changed it in this last patch, and I hope they have, resources on the ground are completely unusable. They just won't use them, like tools, for example, clothes. They won't do them. You need a carrier to bring them to the building, and then people can access it. It's kind of weird. I'm kind of hoping they change that, honestly. Let's take a look and get a warehouse that can store resources. And where's the central point for that going to be? I think maybe we will have the path, like the road, go up this way. So why don't we put the warehouse right about here, let's say, and then it can go along the path about like that. Okay, warehouse will drop down there. Once we have the warehouse done, we can then... Oh, they already broke down the truck. I thought I canceled that. Well, I didn't. So there you go. We need the warehouse as soon as possible then, so they can start using the clothes and the tools and stuff they find. Now, to gather other resources like plastic, we're going to need special buildings that can do that. And one of those special buildings is the scrapper. This can take the junk piles and stuff, turn them into metals, right? And we have the recycler that gets us plastic. You can see if you have the right building selected as to whether or not that glows green. So this over here, for example, I can't place this. This is like metals and stuff, but this is a place to get plastic for the recycler. So I can tell that this will work because it highlights green. So if you're ever wondering, you know, which stock, because they kind of sometimes, if you're not paying attention, they kind of look the same. I know when you're looking at the buildings right now, on the video, it doesn't look like these are the same at all, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, I find myself wondering, wait, is this the right one? And just if it highlights, it works. That's how I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm gonna have a road go this way. In fact, let's start laying in the roads right now so that I can kind of lay out this base just a little bit more organized. So we want dirt road. I'm gonna just lay this through right here. This increases movement speed. Why doesn't it let me lay that? Oh, wait. Oh, there's something in the way over here. That's weird. It lets me lay it now, though, so that's okay. Put this up like that. All right. So this will increase their movement speed if they build this. And we have very limited people to carry things right now, but we do have shelters for everyone. That's important. I want the well built very quickly. So I'm going to pop that to be high priority, and hopefully whoever's building will get on that right away. It does look like they've already started, though, so that's good. Warehouse is also going to be very important, but we are really low on plastic. So that's why I'm dropping this building first. Plastic is our first bottleneck. So let's get... Never figure out what menu it is. So the path is going along this side, so we will flip this around, and I want to make sure this is all lined up with the roads. I'm going to put this right here next to it. All right. Take the road and go all the way over it like so. And we can actually just go right up to like that too. Now this is going to be another high priority as well. We have just enough planks to build it, and we have enough concrete to build it. So that's going to be something that I want done right away so that we can get this built. Because currently all the resources are delivered for the warehouse, but they can't build it because they don't have the plastic. Now, eventually, we're going to want to build the gate. And the gate is like the start of the game, really. When you finally get the game started when you build the gate. But I want my infrastructure in place to sustain us a little bit more. We have 60 food right now, and currently it says our production is 0, but I think that's because I don't have any farms built yet. But right now we're going to be living off of berries. This is also pretty far away. If I can get resources that are closer to us, it might be more beneficial. Food is pretty good, and you can see... So the carriers will work these two structures. As many carriers as you have, that will be who will be doing this. And this is pretty far out. I don't need them to go quite that far away for the concrete right now. So let's just edit this work area. And let's make this a little smaller. We'll go about like this for now. That way they don't have to, they're not going to travel all the way out here. It doesn't look like they've started doing that yet. User feedback. Yeah, we're not going to do that just yet. If you're wondering what that little bug in the corner is, that's just for, you know, bug reports and stuff. All right. So what is left to do aside from farms? I want to make sure we have enough carriers, and the recyclers are done. You can see how many people work here. So right now it's just the one guy. If I want 2 people to work here, I can assign a second. Just keep in mind that anyone who's assigned a dedicated workspace are not going to work as carriers. That's our existing problem right now. But we will at least get plastic. That's good. And we really do need it to get the warehouse set up. So let's pop a second person in there for now. The water set up, and we are producing exactly the amount of water we need. And that's probably not the best. Later on, we're going to get disasters and stuff that happen, and we're going to need to address that. So it looks to me like water efficiency It says 67%. This here says too close to another building of the same type. Too close to another building of the same type. So let's get out and right about here. All clear. So the zones. This was in the previous version of the game. This wasn't quite confirmed. But I actually on Twitch, we eventually did get like one of the developers of the game stopped in at Twitch and answered some questions. So if you're wondering about this when you're playing this, the zone, it can't overlap the other structure. It's not overlapping zones. Overlapping zones are fine, but just don't have them overlap the structure. It's very similar to in Surviving Mars with the what the hell are they called? I forget what they're called. The moisture vaporators. It's very similar to the moisture vaporators in the sense that you can overlap their coverage zones, but not the units themselves. So I'm going to put another well, I think right here. And there's a little bit of an overlap on the zones here, but it doesn't matter. And this will give us a surplus of water, which is going to be very important because I'm also going to get a water tower built eventually. This has a capacity to hold 600 water. And the thing about this, though, and it's a little bit weird, actually. Maybe we pause this. Unless they've changed it. The water tower, when you construct it, it starts with 600 water in it. Which is, I think, a little bit weird. I feel like it should start empty, but I don't think it does. All right. One thing I do want to look for is whether or not we have any fishing spots. And unfortunately, our map seed, which is randomly generated for us, it doesn't give us a whole lot for fishing nearby. So we have a nice fishing hole here, but that's a pretty good distance away from our camp. Like, that's too far. It's probably more likely we fish from this one. And fishing is a great source for food. So is farming, but farming is kind of like you get nothing for a long time, and then you get it in bulk. And also other disasters and stuff can impact... Let's go ahead and get rid of those. Other disasters and stuff can impact your farms to where, like these small fields, they can be impacted by that. Still, I want to have the farms, and this is all fertile land. So I'm going to drop, let's say, 1 and 2 farms. And we'll extend this path out this way. I want to try best as possible to build, to leave enough fertile land for the farms. So if we're going to build structures, we want to try and build them to where they're not obstructing farms, if we can. Fishing hut can go out this way. Again, it's only useful on the water, so we can always do it right. Like this looks like is about the best place we can do it. I'm not sure how that works as far as work area efficiency. Okay, so the more water in the zone, the better. In that case, maybe we build it over here where it's 100% coverage. This percentage thing didn't display the last time I played this, so that's really nice that they put that in. So this will give us 100%. That's what it says. So I think we put it here. Let's get a dirt road out. Probably, yeah, we can't build through the toxic waste. That's going to be an issue. But if we come down like this, nope, need to go a little bit further. About like this. So I want to go straight across, but this waste is in my way. So eventually I'll have to do that. I'll have to get rid of this waste. There's a lot of it. Your colonists. Top bar shows your colonists. Fists are the carriers. Vital for moving resources. Yeah. Okay, there's no workers in the field. Let's go ahead and pause it. And I'm going to try my best not to pause the game a lot this time. I know I have a thing where in most of these games I pause a lot, but I'm going to try not to. When I'm going to stop and explain something, though, I'm going to pause it if I can. So fields do not automatically get worked. They do automatically get assigned a worker, so it will pull a carrier off your list, but they don't automatically get assigned stuff. You can use corn, or you can choose corn or potatoes at the start. One of them gives you more food, but grows slower. The other will give you less food, but grow faster. I'm going to prioritize less food, but faster growth, at least in the beginning, because we're going to get natural disasters that'll ruin my harvests, and I want to make sure I at least have something to harvest when that happens. So I'm going to have her plant. Now, this says ready for planting, and she's going to hopefully come over here and start doing that pretty soon. But here's the thing about farms, and we'll see if it changes. We'll go ahead. I'll explain that later. We'll see if it changes in this patch. But the thing about this is you can have her work the fields until she's planted everything. And then once she's planted everything, you can pull her off the fields. She can become a carrier again. She doesn't need to watch the fields anymore. But I think there's a chance for like critters and pests and stuff to get in your crops. And if you have someone constantly working the fields, that might mitigate that a little bit because that'll affect your yield. But overall, I value the carriers a lot. So I'm going to have these two guys do some planting until it's 100% planted. And then I'm going to pull them off the field so they can be carriers again. Warehouse is done. I would really hope that they pull these resources to the warehouse eventually, but it's kind of a low priority right now. These are all the items that are allowed in here. Good. Now, we're going to need a medical tent pretty quick now, too, because the first disaster is going to hit you hard if you're not medically prepared. So I'm going to get that queued up as well. And I think the medical tent, it's going to kind of go on the main area here. I think right next to the warehouse is a good fit for this. I don't want to get into my fertile land a whole lot, but maybe over here is better. Yeah. I'm going to put it there instead. Because I think this is going to be good farmland, and it's close to the warehouse and food storage and things like that, so I kind of want to do that. There's a lot of food left over here to gather, so they're still doing that, but we are dropping food. And mostly that's probably because we have a lot less carriers now. Storage type. Insufficient construction materials. Yeah. We're working on that. We need one more wood for this, and we need one more wood and one more plastic and a whole bunch of metals and stuff. The metals are over here. I've been trying to hold off on getting them, but it looks like we are at a deficit now, and we absolutely need them. So I'm going to go ahead and get a scrapper set up, and we're going to put that, again, right on the path here. I think we'll move it up to about, let's see, how big is this? So the field is the same width as this. So I would want the field to be there, which means this building needs to go, let's swap it to like here. That should work. Just planning for future farmland and stuff. All right, put that there, and I'm gonna put the path kind of over there too, so they can get there quickly. Okay. This should be a pretty high priority building. So we're going to swap to that because I don't have the construction materials for everything else anyway. Nothing for that. And you just need one more wood, and that's going to be food. That's also going to pull one of my planters off, though. Okay, this is growing. Pull her off of this. This is growing as well. Pull him off of this. So nobody needs to tend these fields anymore. That gives us 2 more carriers that can move resources. And hopefully they're starting to move things into the warehouse eventually. Okay, so these 2 buildings, the medical tent and the fishing hut, they're just down wood. And that's it. 1 wood each building because we are totally out of wood, planks. So I want you guys to focus all of your attention right now on just the wood. So it's going to be basically like this. And that's going to get this out of there. So the gatherers are now going to focus entirely on planks. And by that, hopefully, they'll be able to build this medical tent. We really need that up. And the fishing hut is a good source for food as well. Now, eventually, we will have, like, trapping and stuff going on to get some of these majestic deer and trap them in their majesticness. I don't know why it's a majestic deer. But we're going to trap them eventually. We don't need that just yet, though, because we kind of have berries to go off of. We're growing food, and we have fishing huts. But diversity in your food and making sure, like, say, if your crops fail, you still have trappers going and fishing huts going, you know, because eventually we are going to run out of berries, and we're going to need more. Scrappers completed. Very nice. We can start getting, we can start getting some of the metals and stuff now. And for the most part, I think the basics of our infrastructure is ready and is ready to go. Like it's all set. So now the gate. We start making this. You have to go to the build menu for this. Go to exploration and the gate. It costs 20 planks, 15 concrete. It costs 15 metals and 5 plastics. And you only build at one spot. It's this spot. Now, I kind of like the way this is. Again, the maps are procedurally generated. Oh, let's do that. Maps are procedurally generated. And so a lot of times I'll have like this big open field and this fence and the property line with the fence. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And true, there's still fences in here, which doesn't make sense because they could like hop the cliff. So there is that, and it's going to make our fence look really weird and janky here. But the part I like is the gate kind of goes all the way in this cliff side. And so it makes sense that if people are traveling through here, they would get stopped by the gate. Because a lot of times, if your map generates without this... Oh, look at that. There's like a tunnel over there. I didn't notice that before. But a lot of times if it generates with like flat land here, it's just not realistic. I look at it and go, man, I feel like they could get in if they wanted to, you know? And a lot of times your building property, it'll let you build on the other side of the gate with a building. So that didn't make any sense to me either last time, like before. Whether they've changed that in recent patches, I have no idea. But I like this. I like that this is all like, you know, more closed off now. The gate also now shows this, and it didn't show this before when I played it before. It was like you could see the gate is under construction, but you had no idea how close it was, and you had no way to pause construction on it or anything. Now you can, and it's treated like that. I like that a lot. All right, so we're gonna let this run for a bit, let them gather the resources they need. And I think if anything significant happens or we get the gate done, we'll come back at that point. Okay, so gate just completed. There it is. Let's go ahead and pause the game really quick. So we complete the gate. That's done. I've pulled some people off of the recycler and also out of the scrapper. And I've also doubled the staff on the fishing hut because we're actually dropping food pretty quickly now. But keep in mind the fields, they're 50% grown and their yield is pretty good. And it's instant food and they're right next to the food hut. So food storage, so it should be okay. We're starting to deplete our supply of berries and a little bit of our planks and stuff that we had gathering are now gone as well. So I needed more carriers. I wanted to get that stuff going quickly. But okay, and builders as well. Gate is done, and as soon as the gate's done, this doesn't happen necessarily right away usually, but this happened like pretty much right away. We have this group of people at the gate, a group of survivors. Let's go ahead and hit this, make a decision. Now, a couple of different things can happen here. Not always will you get somebody that's like the leader of the group, but sometimes you do. And you want this first person as soon as possible. Their good scavenging skills is a really good thing. Exploration would be nice to have up because it determines how many action points they have. Good attack value too. So he's pretty strong. He might be able to win some fights. That's nice. This group comes with 2 adults, no children, and they're also coming with a little bit of supplies. And it says, I must admit, I never could have done what you do. Do you sleep your nights peacefully, proud and secure, or does the responsibility keep you awake? So this guy's name is Lancaster. Having lived alone for decades, he doesn't work well with other people. Thanks to his previous self-sufficiency, he's used to taking apart almost anything, provided that he can work in peace. This boneheadedness has given him a fair share of injuries and scars, which he carries with pride. So this is going to be our new sort of explorer guy. We're absolutely going to accept this first group. Now, by accepting them, we now get additional carriers, additional workers, additional people. All that stuff is good, but we must keep in mind a couple of things. First, adding more people means more housing demands. So let's grab another tent. I left room for this. I'm actually going to go 1 over. I know it's going to be it's going to make everything jagged, but don't worry. Or it won't let me. Oh, it won't let me. Why? Is it this tree? Objects underneath are blocking construction. I think it's this tree. That can't be true, because I can go here. I'm gonna have to go one up. That kind of blows. That kind of sucks. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I need the housing. So we got an extra 2 people. Thankfully, this housing will accommodate. So we'll build it there. I didn't really want to build it there, but I guess we will. This road's gonna go up that way. And that's gonna let us hopefully expand the number of housing, because we don't want people to be homeless, right? So we need their shelters. Then we also now have a shortage of water. Let's go ahead and grab that well, get that building ASAP, because people start losing health when there's low water. Okay, next, Lancaster. He's gonna be on the world map. Survivors start arriving at your gate. Among them are specialists who are ordinary people with extraordinary skills. They can go on missions in the world map to explore and gather valuable resources. So let's go to the world map, and we're going to see Lancaster is chilling here on the world map. That's great. Hi, man. Now, his stats determine how many action points he gets. Right now, he has 7. Operating the world map consumes action points. Movement takes 1 AP per hex or more when moving in a rough terrain. Actions like scavenging, scouting, researching, and attacks will use all remaining action points. So we can go ahead and go to this farm. There's 22 jerky here, and we can bring it back here as far as for food goes. We could do that, or we can use his AP to scout these outside areas. We are going to start having a food problem if I don't get some food here. So I think his first action is going to be going to this jerky. So I'm going to have him go ahead and scavenge this. Because of his scavenging ability, he's able to get 22 per haul. So I might have to have another turn to get the rest of it if I want to later. But he's got jerky on him now. And that means he can bring them back to camp. And that's going to be a good source for our food too. All right, if we can get the materials for this, that would be swell. We need wood really badly. And I think it's time to set up a lumber camp, because these planks and stuff that we're harvesting, they're starting to expire. And the lumber camp stuff will do it much more effectively. So let's grab a sawmill. This will cut down trees and make them into planks. We want to do this in a place where there's already a lot of trees. And I also want to stay away from my residential district a little bit. So I'm going to kind of do this over here. I think we need to be able to get to the storage faster, though, don't we? I also don't want to use any of my fertile land. If I put this over here, I have his work area that way? Nah. I could put it this way. It's just far from camp. But I want other stuff here, you know? Maybe up here. We haven't worked these trees. Yeah, this will work. This will be fine. We'll have you work right here. I'm going to turn you this way. Yeah, I'm going to turn you this way like this. Right like that. Yeah. This is going to be a high priority as well, because we need the resources. And then let's get the road built to that too. Okay, so more people means more workers and all that stuff, and I like it. So we have high priorities on housing. We need that really quickly because it's affecting their happiness. Housing is going to be good. -6 on homelessness. It's great. It's real great. There's no reason yet for someone to work the medical tent. Not yet. So his action points will refresh at the end of every day. So you can see down here, this is the current day, day 4. And this, you know, is like our progress. So I can have it zip forward a little bit faster here, speed this up if we can. We need them to deliver these resources. People are going to start losing health with the water shortage. Should have done this quicker, honestly. Having the extra well up before would have been better. Now, some of you might say, why not just build the tower, Charlie? Because we're going to need to build a well later anyway. That's my logic behind this. I explained this to my Twitch chat before, too. It's like the well solves my problem and the tower solves my problem. But in a disaster, the well solves my problem in the disaster more than the tower does. Provided, of course, you know, it depends on how long that disaster is and stuff. The well also takes more resources to build, so it technically would be, I think anyway, it would probably end up being slower to fix the problem, as the well would be quicker to build. Well is 6 planks, 10 concrete, and the water tower is 10 planks, 6 concrete, and 6 metal, which we don't have any metal right now because I stopped him. So I actually need to get somebody back in here. Now that we have more people in the camp, though, that's less of an issue. Like, I have more carriers, so I can have people man these buildings. Okay. Water well's done. Water problem solved. You'll notice that some of our colonists have been losing health. Not the kids, but some of our adults have been losing health, and that's because of the water shortage. Everyone will start losing water, or everyone will start losing health in a water shortage. You definitely don't want to have that be the thing. Okay, new day means more action points. So I can have him scavenge more. Oh, or maybe he can't. That looks like it's fully scavenged, actually. Yeah, fully scavenged. Okay. So let's go ahead and scout this area and see what's on this side of us. Okay, we've got concrete here. Pretty valuable to us. There's also a threat. It says hazards is just like 1 skull out of 3, so 33% danger. But this he likes to live on the wild side, so I'm sure he'll be fine. This is some pretty good yield on these crops. It might be a good idea to drop another farm, but I have a feeling there's going to be a disaster pretty quick. If it's a heat wave, I don't know if it'll necessarily affect the crops as much, but toxic fallout is usually what you have to deal with. And I don't know if I want to do that. Let's see. Stockpile. Yeah, we'll leave that. That's okay. Lots of wood up here. I could be getting that if I have more carriers. Still some food left to gather this way. So let them go. And then I'm going to start needing tier 2 housing pretty soon. But it kind of depends on him and whether he can find the science points. What else can we build in the meantime? We're going to be solving our metal problem in a second. I might, since there's not a whole lot to carry, let's double up on the metal for a second. And we could double up on the plastic too. We might have to demolish this building. I might move it out here. It's like, there's still a trek, but I wanted these resources really quickly, so I dropped it next to it. But I might have to demolish this. And I don't remember if you get your resources back for doing that or not. I mean, I would hope you get some back, but I actually don't know that. We're still doubled up on the fish. Food is always a crisis. If we harvest this at 100% though, I'm really hoping. It's day 5 and we haven't had a disaster yet, so I gotta think like any minute now we're gonna have, you know, disaster striking at some point. Any action points for you? Still nothing. He's got jerky as well, so if we're like, oh my god, food crisis, we can always bring him back and he can drop off that jerky. Okay, specialist. Do I want you to get the concrete? We could use it. We really could. But I think I could use science points even more. So I'm going to have you scout this area. Okay, there's 10 wood here, but there's also bandits. Now, I don't think bandits are working quite well yet. This is an early access game. So I think all the bandits, they have really low HP. He has 6 compared to our hero here, which has 100. So, like, pretty sure our specialists just win every fight. But I'm hoping that changes later on, because right now bandits, they just don't have enough power. But maybe that's a good thing for the start of the game, you know? These berries are gone. Do we want to keep scavenging food from there? We still have 2 sources of berries. They're only 8 food, though. Is there a better work area that gets us... This looks a little bit closer. We can still scavenge berries from there. We'll wait till these berries are gone, and then we'll move it here for the carriers. There's only 3 carriers right now. Look at that yield. Oh, we're going to have over 100 food as soon as those crops pop. As long as they don't become, like, infested or something, which is always the risk of not having someone manning the fields. Specialist ready. Let's have you get the wood. We're okay on wood, actually. You have enough resources to build things. What I really need, more than anything else, is research points. I need science points. There it is. Okay. So there's... I'm sorry, 315 science points? Am I reading that correctly? That seems like a lot. I don't remember. It's been a couple of weeks since I played the game. I don't remember if 315 is a lot. I want to say that that's a lot of science points. Tech tree, right? We go to food. Okay, no, it's not that much. Okay, so I was thinking it was like 10 for this, 20 for this, 30 for this. It actually goes in scales of 100. So, okay. So fine. It's not that much, but 315 will give us communal eating, which is going to be great for us because we can be much more efficient with our food. It's also going to allow us to get communal living, which gives us the shanties, the tier 2 housing, and I want that too. Security, general storage, not the biggest thing. Bartering might be a thing to look into in the future. The tech tree's not that big. Like it doesn't, it's not that impressive of a tech tree for a game like this. And I'm kind of hoping they expand on it. Again, it is early access. And if you're like, hey, this looks like it's right up my alley, I'd like to play too, feel free to click the link in the description. You can get yourself Surviving the Aftermath as well. It's on early access on the Epic Game Store. Link in the description. And if you decide to use that link, you are also helping to support me at the same time. So for anyone that does, I thank you humbly in advance. Heat wave, our first disaster is coming. Intense and oppressive heat takes over the area and moisture evaporates. Colonists struggle to keep hydrated and cool while working. Plants wither in the cracked soil. So colonists will now drink double the water amount. Crop yields on open fields will suffer. And we need to build and fill water towers and stockpile. And it says build and fill. So now I'm wondering if the towers don't actually fill themselves. So in anticipation for them not actually being built full, let's drop a water tower. And I think we'll put it right here. It's a nifty spot. I don't think it matters where it is, really, so we'll build it right there. This is now a high priority. We have 10. That's good. We have almost 6, and we have plenty of metals. So we should be able to build that really quick. I will want somebody in the medical tent staff now because people will start withering, actually. We don't need that just yet. Let's get the carriers. So the heat wave comes in 2 days, okay? You have 2 days to prepare for this, which is great because our fields are probably ready to harvest in like 1 day. That would be great as well if we could harvest this. Insufficient construction materials, that'll get taken care of. Okay, colonists want to talk. It's something about a landfill. Now, I don't know if they changed this. I'm hoping the recent patches changed this, but the way these have been working in the past, when I played this at its first release day, is when you click this, it will take into consideration the materials that you have on hand at that time. There's a timer on this thing, and it will start to go around over time. And when you click on it, you can see the scenario, and you can back out with escape. And you can click it again, and you're still fine. But, again, this is the way it was before, hoping it's not now. It takes into account the resources you have at the time you first click it. So right now, we have 3 planks and no concrete. That's bad. So I'm going to wait to talk to these guys. Now, the timer is going to come down pretty quickly, but if I can harvest a little bit more wood... Wait, work area. Oh, shit. This is over here. My bad. If I can harvest a bit more wood, that would be really helpful. concrete as well would be really helpful. Let's focus all of your attention on this for now. Just get a little bit of that resource. I want to see like maybe 10 planks. If I can get to 10, that'd be really great. Specialist ready for action. Specialist, get in here and get me this. 315. So that little bit there, he's got 200. Now, unlike resources on the map like concrete, wood. Oh, actually, getting this concrete would have been nice too. 45 concrete. Unlike these, like food and stuff, which has to be brought back to camp in order to use it, science points are available right away. So we have 200 of those. So let's come out and go to the tech tree. I want communal eating. And I also want communal living as well. So that unlocks 2 very important things for me. 1, communal eating. It's super good because the cookhouse, it uses some wood, so we're going to need more wood, but it transforms 2 food that we normally have, 2 of the raw food, into 4 meals. And the meals make people happier. And so it basically doubles our food if they're working in the cookhouse. I really want that. So I'm going to put the cookhouse over here next to our food storage, right there. Okay, now I want to pause this temporarily because I don't want them using the wood. I want that wood to go up because I don't know what the scenario is yet. It says something about a landfill. So I'm wondering if I'm going to need... I don't think I would need wood for a landfill. I probably would need clothes, which I don't have built yet. I should probably get started on that too because... Yeah, a tailor. Probably should get that going. Let's see. Maybe just down here. Put the tailor over here. I'm good with that. And then dirt road like this. So the tailor's going to take resources, of course, and make food from fiber. Fiber's right here. I'm not entirely sure how to get fiber. Do I get fiber from here? Yeah. The recyclers. They take this stuff, make plastic and fibers. Okay, good. So, like, the landfill. What is he going to need? Tools, clothes, and... You know what? I'm going to click this. I don't think the landfill one is going to... Because I think I know what this scenario is. Because I've seen it in the last time I tried to play it, I think. Yeah, dumpster diving. Okay. So we already have the resources for this. 2 colonists approach you with sparkling eyes. An old landfill has been found, probably by the stench. It's not too far from here. Although the smell is absolutely awful, it might have kept scavengers away from there until now, and valuable stuff might still lie among the waste. An expedition might prove lucrative, but most definitely dangerous without any equipment. An extra layer of clothing and a set of tools would go a long way in keeping the colonists safe and efficient. We actually have 2 spare clothes right now, so I'm going to go ahead and give those to them, as well as the 2 tools. Dumpster diving. You smell them before you see anything. A pile of garbage in a vague shape of a humanoid approaches the gate and shouts, "Great success!" The landfill was indeed left untouched, and the loot well worth the effort, once it's been properly washed and rinsed. We get 4 fun boxes, I guess, and 8 metal, which is something we didn't need. I was kind of hoping for some of this stuff, or maybe some of this stuff. We did get the fun box, though. I'm not sure what we do with that. Building material. A selection of various entertainment products from the old world required by all entertainment buildings can only be found on the world map or with random scenarios, apparently. Okay. We really need this done now. Not going to pause that. We can get that water tower up ASAP, please. Because if they don't start full, then I'm going to need this surplus to fill it, right? So we'll see if it starts full. I may want to drop another well, because this one can kill people pretty quick. Thankfully, that expedition did not lead to people needing medical attention. A lot of times those scenarios, people come back sick or radiated or something, and they need medical attention. Not this time, thankfully. Food is really low, and we want to start harvesting this. 94%, 93%. Getting real close. We just don't have enough carriers for anything right now. Build, 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 build. Almost done. And water tower. It starts with... It says 600 capacity. It doesn't say how much is in there. It doesn't say how much is in there. It just says 600 capacity. So I'm going to assume that there's 600 in there now. Hopefully. And that means that we're good for the event. I would think. We're completely out of clothes, though. I need that tailor up, too. But cookhouse is now the priority. We almost have the wood, and we almost have the concrete. Actually, can you do things yet? No. You're pretty close. I think it's this little green circle that goes around the world map icon. I think that's the timer on him, whether he's able to do something again. We're going to have him return to camp. He's going to be bringing us food. He's also got on him just the food. I could actually stop here and get the concrete. That might be doable. Stop and get the concrete and come back.
Yeah.
I think that might be what we do instead. I don't know if you can queue up actions with those guys. That would be helpful information to know as well. Okay, we're going to leave the video here right before the disaster. And, yeah, Specialist is ready for action. I'm going to go ahead and send him after this concrete first, I think. And then bring him back tomorrow. There's 45 of that here. And he's got some of it. So now he's carrying 45 concrete as well. That scavenging skill is great. That 5 scavenging is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to bring him back to camp. He's going to bring us food, which is desperately needed. And these crops are ready for harvest. So my remaining carriers are now going to yield those fields. And we're going to get 84 food from this right before the disaster. So super good. I need it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, again, it helps a lot. Give it a thumbs up. Give me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. It's going to be fun. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.